Good morning, everyone. Don't I have a story to tell? My grandson and I got in trouble last night. Yeah. The pool was out, and they every time they're in the pool and I'm watching, they go, Rosie, come on in, come on. He's so nice, right? And I've not done it many times so far, mainly because of my legs, and they jump in and out of the pool, and they do watch me when I'm in there, but I usually just sit in one corner going, okay, watch Chrissy's legs. So last night, sure enough, I played with them a little more and sure, my legs got jumped on, and I'm feeling it today. Which is fine, but that wasn't the problem. The trouble we got into. So I had rinsed out all the t-shirts, this and that. Sure enough, it's a nice, how you say, unified look for the family. And my daughter loved the t-shirts. She says, oh, Mom, they're great. I love the colors, this, that. I said, well, you guys could always wear them for movie night at home or something together, you know. And she said, oh, no. She says, oh, we love to wear those in public as well. I said, oh, okay. And but the instructions called for rinse them out one time just in some water, right? So I did. My curtains came out really nice too, a little lighter than, but that was because there wasn't much dye left, enough, but yeah, still, they look nice. They actually look very nice, still light enough. Okay, all right. And while they were in the pool, that water that I rinsed out the t-shirts and the curtains was still sitting there, and it was colored kind of a purplish something rather. And my grandson gets out and he says, Gracie, can we pour this into the pool? That was before I went in with them. I don't think my hair did anything, did it? No, I don't. It looks fine. How? Yeah, that's because dark hair. All right, so I said, so at first I thought, yeah, I don't know if this is a good idea. And he gave me this look, you know, like, I really wanted to. I said, yeah, it's just going to be diluted in this big pool anyway, you know, so why not? Let's see what happens. So I said, yeah, go ahead. So they dumped it all in there, and it just colored a little bit, you know, so then I went in as well, and we had a great time. And then after we got out, we all sat. They have like this little flat piece here, and then it goes down the hill. So we all sat in our chairs and just dried. It was hot yesterday. It was 100 plus with the humidity. And we just sat there and we let ourselves dry. And it was close to dinner time. I knew this was going to happen here. And so we sat there and we talked and we threw a ball around and it was fun. And then here comes Mom out and she says, okay, dinner time, you know. And Abby's already said, Rosie, we're having pork chops. I don't like pork chops. I said, so I yelled up to my daughter, I said, Abby doesn't want the pork chop. She just wants a bowl of grass. She says, well, that's good then. I have salad up there. And that's what she ate for dinner. A whole big bowl of salad with the peppers, the bell peppers and tomatoes from our garden and a good salad. So that's what she ate. That's it. For myself, why force children to eat something that they don't like yet? And the thing is, she's eaten enough all day long. It's not, these children are very healthy in many ways, and they're not about to fall apart, just skin and bones or anything, neither of them. So that's what she ate. And she was so happy when she finished her bowl. Okay, all right. First. Anyway, so we went up, and after she was done with eating her salad, the first one to put the bowl in the sink, she says, I'm done first. Yeah, you know, just so proud of herself for having finished her food. Oh. Anyway, trying to teach my daughter, just put a teeny tiny little bit on her plate. She can always have more. A lot of food, talked about this before. Parents put so much food on a child's plate and they just get overwhelmed, right? Though they're hungry, they're overwhelmed. Well, that's the thing. Oftentimes, the children that I know, they're not hungry by dinner time. They eat too many snacks, this and that, and I don't know what, right? Yes? So, tiny little portions, right? Yes? Because they can always have more. But they're proud of themselves when they finish their plate. And that's a good thing to be proud of, okay? Yes, all right, all right. Besides, don't waste food. Come on now. Everybody's complaining about the high prices still. The waste of food in this country, abominable. All right. So she goes and she starts brushing her hair on top of everything. Because we were in the pool and we all had dunked our heads and we were, okay, all right. And she goes and she shows off her nicely brushed hair to Mom and Dad, who were sitting down by the table. And Ben and I were sitting up on the counter. They have this big island and they have chairs there, and we were sitting there eating. My daughter looks at me and she said, "What did you do with that tie-dye water?" Ben and I gave each other that look. And she says, "Mom, Ben?" Grandson. I said, "Well, Ben dumped it into the pool, but he asked me and I said it was okay." She said, "Mom, Abby's hair is green." And I'm going, "What? No, it's not. From where I was sitting, it didn't look green." My granddaughter has the blondest hair possible. It's like this white blonde, okay? And I thought, oh, well, I didn't think of that. I didn't think that a little bit of that tie-dye water in a big old pool of water would do that. And I'm looking at Ben and I'm going, "Ben, you got it too." Ben and I were just looking at each other going, "Oh, we're in trouble. Oh, were we in trouble," right? So I said to my daughter, I said, "Abby, come over here." And sure enough, she did have a green tinge. Which was, I told my daughter, I said, that was purple water, not green. So I don't know where she got that color. Of course, Mom knows. Okay. Anywho, so I said, just give her a shower tonight, which they get anyway, and said, wash her hair really good. Don't let it set. So here Ben and I both, my grandson and I both, we were getting off the chairs, so we better head downstairs because we're in trouble now. And Ben gets to the stairs and his mom says, "No, you two need a break from each other." I said, "What? Are we in timeout? Separate from each other?" And she said, "Yes." Which I thought, I went downstairs and going, how old am I? I'm still getting in trouble. Well, I've never done this before, so I didn't know. It's not like it hurt anyone, okay? And her hair, it's this morning they did, and her hair looks fine. And even if not, a couple more washing and it'll be fine. Look at my hands. So remember how they looked like yesterday? This was washing my hands here and there, and look, yeah. Same with her hair. All right. Anyway, it was this like, oh my gosh, how old am I? And I'm getting in trouble like this with my grandson. Okay. Thought about that, and I realized that there's something my grandson and I have in common. I got in trouble as a child all the time, for weird, odd reasons I couldn't explain, and literally I felt when I become an adult that this will stop, right? Then I'm going to be in control over my decisions, this, that, and it's not, nope, it didn't work out that way. I still get into trouble. I said, this is a little thing, and it didn't hurt anybody, it's just like, oh, yeah, I got blonde-headed grandchildren, and okay, well, never thought that, okay, all right. But there are other things, too, all right, with my thing for cleanliness, and I clean up things, this, that, okay, all right. And, or just decide, okay, which, by the way, all right, we're not going to get into that. I'm not a hoarder. If there is something that I feel like, well, that's not needed, this has been used, and I get rid of it. I give it away. I get rid of it. If I have two of something and someone needs something, I'm always the one to give. Okay, and that has gotten me into plenty of trouble. All right. Anyway, so I realized that because I was so separate in a way from reality as growing up as a child, right? With my nose in a book most of the time, loving to spend time on my own. I don't want to say that I became self-centered. That's not what it is. It's just I was oblivious to many different things that were going on around me that I should have paid attention to. And my grandson is exactly the same. He loves to have fun. He's a big boy for his age, right? And because he loves to have fun, he gets in trouble all the time because his sister is such a tiny little thing, right? Yes? And they're having fun together. And, well, elbows and knees and feet and hands and I don't know what. And, okay. And he's constantly being told, you've got to be more careful around your sister. Now, don't make sure that. But he's having so much fun, and he's what, 7 years old, going on 8. He'll be 8 next month. Now, he's having so much fun that he's just kind of like me with my nose in a book, is oblivious to certain things that are going on around him to really pay attention to. And he gets in trouble, just like I used to, all the time. In a little bit of a different way, yet because of the same symptom. Yes? And here we are, both of us got into trouble over tie-dye water. So, I'm going on 60, and when I look back in my life on how many times I've been in trouble over, again, things that, okay, didn't hurt people or this or that, just, well, if you're not taking care of it, I will, or this or that, right? I've resigned myself to, well, okay, well, I have no doubt the next time of getting into trouble, displeasing someone with whatever will come along as well. And that is kind of it. Yes. So, are there just some things in people's lives that, one wishes they would just not exist, right? Ah, my gosh, come on now. What's the big deal with my granddaughter having a little bit of green hair, right? Yes. And I thought of on what people pay attention to, right? And what they're not paying attention to as well. It's not just my grandson and I, who kind of have our own different worlds that we are in, right? Not out to get anyone, not bad people or anything, just, okay. And something came to my mind about scientists, right? Who, many scientists out there, they've come across so many different things now, right? What time do we live in? Time of discovery. And we've lived in times of discoveries for a long time, right? Yes? In the Bible, in Genesis, we have the 6 days of creation on how God everything created. And then, right, as when he made Adam and Eve, or mankind, master over the rest of the creation, the discoveries started. Many different discoveries on how things actually were. That it wasn't just, oh, I created the animals and the plants. How did God create the animals and the plants? In an amazing way. How did God create Earth, the solar system around it, and everything to sustain Earth? Yes? And scientists, right? Yes, though the evolutionary process cannot be refuted either. I mean, you can't rebuttal that. Right? It exists. Right? And the Bible exists, right, in a simpler form of saying, this is where you started out. Now look where you got. Right? Yes? All the stuff that you got to discover, right? With the intelligence level that you are capable of. It's a pretty phenomenal thing, in my opinion. Right? And many scientists have come to the conclusion that, yep, there had to be a greater something behind all of that. Because it's so incredibly beautifully designed, so well in balance, everything. Yes? Isn't that something? Isn't that amazing? Yeah? Well, one could say that God got into trouble with all kinds of things too, right? What's with them typhoons, right? And them hurricanes, and I don't know what, and the heat suddenly, and I don't know, right? Yes, yeah, people complain. Anytime I feel, even though there's a perfectly good, again, balanced explanation, because people have studied all that and come to the conclusion again, oh, we need all this. Whatever the weather has to give us, we need in order to keep the earth balanced. Not only that, in the universe, we need that because certain things break down on earth, but the universe has a solution for it. Yes. Like the ozone layers, the black holes, that this and that. Okay, all right. Certain other things, nah. Spinning on the axis. Anyway, but the fact is that anytime people complain about anything on earth, about circumstances that one can't really do anything much about it, God's in trouble, isn't he? Yes? Even though, okay, if you guys would be doing the right thing, there would be no harm coming to you. Really, when it comes down to it. Yes? And if people haven't figured that out yet, your life on earth is very limited. Yes? If anybody is expecting to live forever on earth, yeah, not going to happen. Doesn't matter how much money you got, how much power you have, how much territory you have conquered. It won't matter. You are not going to live past 100-something. Done. There. Now you're in trouble. Anyway, interesting little connection I found with my grandson. We're troublemakers. Nope, we're just having fun. And we're doing what? Discovering and exploring. Obviously putting tie-dye water, as diluted as it is already, into a pool will still color a blonde-headed human being. For a while anyway. All right, we're in 1 Samuel 17. Oh, Father, please let me stay out of trouble for the next couple of weeks. Spirit world goes, yeah, you wish. Haven't you learned your lesson yet? And they love me for it. All right. 1 Samuel 17. Goliath challenges the Israelite army. The Philistines mustered their troops for war. They assembled at Sokoh in Judah and pitched camp between Sokoh and Azekah in Ephes Damim. Okay, now let's remember something. Saul's the one that is definitely, he has an armor bearer, and that's David. What does that mean? Yeah, I think we know what that means. So, in any case, sounds to me like that Saul is continuously on the warpath with someone. And here, of course, again, it says the Philistines. Why did the Philistines attack again? I thought that the Philistines were like, okay, let's run away. No. We can't fight their God. That's what he says beforehand. And here they are again. So my feeling is that the Israelites continuously are doing something where the Philistines also feel like, well, what are we going to do? Let them take over everything? Okay, just saying, right? Yes, it's a two-way street here. I have no doubt. Saul and the Israelites also mustered. They've also, pitching camp in the valley of the Terebinth. So, again, they knew they were going to fight against each other. As I said, the Israelites were not, the Philistines weren't just creeping up on them. Saul was ready. Just saying. Right? Proves my point? Yeah, okay, right. And drew up their battle line opposite the Philistines. The Philistines occupied the high ground on one side, and the Israelites occupied the high ground on the other side, with the valley between them. How convenient. A champion stepped out from the Philistine ranks. His name was Goliath, from Gath. He was 6 cubits and 1 span tall. On his head was a bronze helmet, and he wore a breastplate of scale armor. The breastplate weighed 5,000 shekels of bronze. Wow, they know exactly what he was wearing and how much things cost. I'm amazed over that. He had bronze greaves on his legs and a bronze scimitar slung across his shoulders. The shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and the head of his spear weighed 600 shekels of iron. Wow, they know that? Are you getting something here? Make him as mighty as possible, and look at this and what he was wearing. It's all cost so much money, blah, blah. How would they even know that? Huh? But they did. Okay, all right. A shield bearer walked in front of him. Oh, then he had a servant too. How does one make a victory look even better? When you exaggerate, per se, the other side's power. All right, I'm just saying. Right? Yes? How would the Israelites, who wrote this down? Where did these accounts come from? The Philistines? Oh, the Philistines gave away. Oh, yeah, he paid this and this much for it. Yeah, after they lost? I'm just saying, it's just an interesting account of what Goliath wore all, and how much it cost, and how much it weighed, this and that, right? Yes? But then there's so much other stuff that I'm interested in, not there. Omitted, don't know, but they know all that. I find that interesting. Just saying. Yes. Taking position in front of the Israelite lines, he shouted, "Why have you come out to range yourselves for battle? Am I not a Philistine, and are you not Saul's lackeys? Choose a man and let him come down to me. If he can fight it out with me and kill me, we will be your servants. But if I can beat him and kill him, you become our servants and serve us." The Philistines then said, "I challenge the ranks of Israel today. Give me a man, and we will fight it out." When Saul and all Israel heard what the Philistines said, they were dismayed and terrified. Again. David arrives in the camp. David was the son of the Ephrathite from Bethlehem of Judah, whose name was Jesse. Jesse had 8 sons, and by Saul's time he was old and well on in years. Jesse's eldest 3 sons followed Saul to war. The names of the 3 sons who went to the war were the eldest Eliab, the second Abinadab, and the third Shammah. David was the youngest. The eldest 3 followed Saul. Well, that's written down odd. David altered between serving Saul and looking after his father's sheep at Bethlehem. Oh! How the heck does that work? Oh, he was really only needed when... Okay, all right. Morning and evening, the Philistine advanced, presenting himself thus for 40 days. Jesse said to his son David, "What? Wait a minute. Morning and evening the Philistine, Goliath, advanced, presenting himself thus for 40 days. So he was waiting for 40 days for someone from the Israelite camp to come forward and challenge him? Are you kidding me? It's like a dance. This is the dance for men, right? Yes? This is just, what is this? Kind of tells me that we're both afraid of each other. So Goliath kind of carried... It's just... War. What a weird game men play. Jesse said to his son David, take your brothers this ephah of roasted grain and these 10 loaves, and hurry to the camp to your brothers, and take these 10 cheeses to their commanding officer. Find out how your brothers are, and bring some token back from them. They are with Saul and all the men of Israel in the valley of the Terebinth fighting the Philistines. Okay, they weren't fighting, obviously. If he's bringing them food, this and that, okay, then they weren't fighting. They were kind of both in their camps, kind of, what should we all do? We want to do something, but what should we do, right? So sitting there doing absolutely nothing, consuming what? Yeah, all right. David got up early in the morning and leaving the sheep with someone to guard them, took up his load and went off as Jesse had ordered. He reached the encampment just as the troops were leaving to take up battle stations and shouting the war cry. Israel and the Philistines drew up their lines facing one another. David left his bundle in charge of the baggage guard and running to the battle line went and asked his brothers how they were. All right, wait a minute. So they probably did that every day. One row on one side of the hill and the other one on the other side of the hill. Then there's the valley down there, and they were just yelling at each other. Obscenities, no doubt, right? Yes? Yeah, okay. And here's David. He runs to the front of the line and goes, hey, guys, how you doing? A child should be doing that? Well, then they were not engaged in war, per se, right? I mean, fighting each other. I mean, killing each other. I mean, dismembering and blood spurting, and otherwise David would not have done that, right? Yeah, okay, all right. I just want to be clear that we all understand that. While he was talking to them, the champion, Goliath, the Philistine from Gath, came up from the Philistine ranks and made his usual speech, which David heard. As soon as the Israelites saw this man, they all ran away from him and were terrified. The Israelites said, you saw that man who just came up? He comes to challenge Israel. One man, challenging all of Israel. That's wow. The king will lavish riches on the man who kills him. He will give him his daughter in marriage and exempt his father's family from all taxes in Israel. David asked the men who were standing near him what would be the reward for killing this Philistine and saving Israel from disgrace. Well, they just told him, didn't they? So he asks again, who is this uncircumcised Philistine to challenge the armies of the living God? Oh, now there's one thing that David had, some faith, and is wondering, oh. The people told him what they had been saying. That would be the reward for killing him. They said, his eldest brother Eliab heard David talking to the men and grew angry with him. Hi, honey. Why have you come down here, he said.
I got my coin out of my...
Where did you get it?
I got it out of my stove.
Oh, you had some money in there? In your little kitchen? That's the green-headed girl here we got now. Actually, it looks like most of the color is already out. I can't really see much in there anymore. I told the people about your green hair. It's okay, honey. It looks pretty, I think. Besides, I think it's mostly out. I can't even see much anymore here. Yeah, I think one more shower and washing your hair will do it. All right. I'm happy you found a quarter. What you going to do with it? Save it? Okay. They said his where am I here now? Oh. Whom have you left in charge of those few sheep in the desert? I know how impudent and artful you are. Oh. You have come to watch the battle. Oh, the brothers of David are assuming what now here, right? David can't even explain, hey, wait a minute, that's a lot of, we couldn't even express it, well, we didn't think, it didn't hurt anybody with the tie-dye, this and that, right? Oh, looky here. I wonder what kind of relationship David and his brothers had. Yeah. What?
What is this?
Looks like a leaf, honey. That looks like a plantain leaf. Oh. David retorted, what have I done? May I not even speak?
What is that? What is this bug?
Oh, I have no idea. Is it alive? Look and see if it's alive.
Okay, let me get a stick.
All right. Oh, so David said, right? What did he say? Can I not even ask or talk? You don't even... Why? This is the other thing. Why don't people just ask? I've said this so many times now in the past few chapters. Why don't people just ask? David, why are you here? Did you come on your own? Did Father send you? And then David can reply, right? Yes? No, what do the brothers automatically assume? And aren't even worried about his safety. All right. Just saying. People. At that time, today, impudent and artful. Sounds like there's some jealousy going on because David gets to go to the king. And he turned away from him to someone else and asked the same question, to which the people replied as before, is it alive? David's words were noted, however, and reported to Saul, who sent for him. Where is it? Oh, it's on its... Is it...
It's another bug.
It's another bug?
Yeah.
Well, Happy, it's just a buggy day, isn't it? It's going to be a buggy, mucky day.
I'll go inside.
Oh, see ya.
David.
David volunteers to accept the challenge. David said to Saul, let no one be discouraged on his account. Your servant will go and fight this Philistine. Saul said to David, you cannot go and fight the Philistine. You are only a boy, and he has been a warrior since his youth. Oh, so here we go now. We have it from the Israelites' mouth, Saul, king of the Israelites, that David was only a boy. David said to Saul, your servant used to look after the sheep for his father, and whenever a lion or a bear came and took a sheep from the flock, I used to follow it up, lay it into it, and snatch the sheep out of its jaws. If it turned on me, I would seize it by the beard and batter it to death. David has what? Experience in what? And nobody knows about it. I guess he doesn't brag about it. But he's letting his king know, I am not as inexperienced as you think. Right? Yes? Okay. All right. Okay. If it turned, okay, your servant has killed both lion and bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine will end up like one of them for having challenged the armies of the living God. The living God. That's the first time. Well, it was mentioned one more time before. Interesting on how David changed what? How to address God? The living God. He's not just some. So David somehow, God came upon David, right? Oh, to make him the next king? No. But obviously, God's still trying to somehow restore and salvage, right? Something of his people. Okay, all right. Interesting. Yahweh, David went on, who delivered me from the claws of lion and bear, will deliver me from the clutches of this Philistine. Oh, just by, again, with what kind of experience is David going into this battle with this Philistine, or into this fight with this Philistine? No experience at all? So he just depends on what? the grace of God to save him and be stronger for one reason or another than this big old dude that, the Philistine, Goliath? No, no. David has experience dealing with what? Lions and bears, tending the sheep. Oh, well, there you go. Yes, it's not about blind faith, people. Then Saul said to David, go and Yahweh be with you. Interesting. I have some things to say about that, but okay. Saul dressed David in his own armor, which fit him. He put a bronze helmet on his head, dressed him in a breastplate, and buckled his own sword over David's armor. David tried to walk, but not being used to them, said to Saul, I cannot walk in these. I am not used to them. So they took them off again. David and Goliath. He took his stick in his hand, selected 5 smooth stones from the riverbed, and put them in his shepherd's bag, in his pouch. Then, sling in hand, he walked towards the Philistine. The Philistine, preceded by his shield bearer, come nearer and nearer to David. When the Philistine looked at David up and down, what he saw filled him with scorn, because David was only a lad, with ruddy cheeks and an attractive appearance. The same exact words. That's interesting, as we have already read before. The Philistine said to David, am I a dog for you to come after me with sticks? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. By his gods? Oh, his gods. The Philistine gods. The Philistine said to David, come over here, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and the wild beasts. David retorted to the Philistine, you come to me with sword, spear, and scimitar, but I come to you in the name of Yahweh, Sabaoth, God of the armies of Israel, whom you have challenged. Today Yahweh will deliver you into my hand. I shall kill you. I shall cut off your head today. Really? That would go against one of the commandments. Oh, but. Yeah, but. Today I shall give your corpse and the corpses of the Philistine army to the birds of the air and the wild beasts, so that the whole world may know that there is a God in Israel. And this whole assembly know that Yahweh does not give victory by means of sword and spear. For Yahweh is Lord of the battle, and he will deliver you into our power. Oh, Yahweh is Lord of the battle. I'll tell you what. No sooner had the Philistines started. It's an interesting story. Forward to confront David, then David darted out of the lines and ran to meet the Philistine. Putting his hand in his bag, he took out the stone, slung it, and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone penetrated his forehead, and he fell face downwards on the ground. Thus David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. He hit the Philistine and killed him. Though he had no sword in his hand, David ran and stood over the Philistine, seized his sword, and pulled it from the scabbard, dispatched him, and cut off his head. Oh! When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled. The men of Israel and of Judah started forward, shouting their war cry, and pursued the Philistines as far as the approaches of Gath and the gates of Ekron. The Philistine dead lay all along the road from Sharaim as far as Gath and Ekron. Turning back from their ferocious pursuit of the Philistines, the Israelites plundered their camp, and David took the Philistine's head and brought it to Jerusalem. His weapons, however, he put in his own tent. No idea what that means. David, the conqueror of Goliath, is presented to Saul. When Saul saw David going to engage the Philistine, he said to Abner, the army commander, Abner, whose son is that boy? What? Didn't he favor David? Wait a minute. What's going on here now? He's asking who that boy is? What, didn't he just wanted to put him in the armor? I'm not getting. Why is Saul asking who that is? And Abner replies, I do not know. The king said, find out whose son the lad is. What? When David came back after killing the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul with the Philistine's head in his hand. Saul asked him, whose son are you, young man? David replied, the son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem. Wait a minute. What is that? Didn't we just read in 17 on how David was called, I know this guy, so his armor bearer, who someone in his, said, I know this guy who plays really well, so we're going to go and get him. What? And Saul didn't know his name? He didn't even know his name. He made him his armor bearer, didn't know his name, didn't know where he came from, nothing. Yet he favored the boy, and the boy was called, and here he's going, who is that? Are you kidding me? Okay, done. I have nothing else to say. I don't know if this story is true or not. If it is, all I have to say to this, or whoever made up this story, on how God is on the side of a little boy, little boy, of a boy growing into adulthood, who, has, as I said, sounds like, according to David, and how he says, has some experience on how to... Abby, can you wait on that for a moment? I'm almost done, okay? Has some experience on keeping his sheep safe from lions and bears, right? Yes? And here are the Israelites, big old whole army. How many? It doesn't say how many. Well, there were in the past over 200,000. Okay, and here, how many of the Philistines are left? How often have they already conquered the Philistines and basically decimated them, and whole areas, killed women and babies, and I don't know what? I'm just saying, how many of the Philistines are left to actually challenge Israel, who still has these huge armies? And here comes this boy David. Okay, why is the story even in there? Huh? Oh, it should be simple too. What did I say about Samuel anointing David? And why? And here, that has to be now made what? Pleasant, presentable, and edible to the rest of Israel, that a boy is going to be king. More or less. Right? Yes? And then who knows what. But here's my main thing. All the men of Israel were fine, even though the boys sound, well, he offered to come. I could take care of this dude. He's the only one who can take care of this dude. There wasn't anybody else in the army of Saul that also tended sheep and had to kind of prevent from lions and bears. I don't even know. Were there any bears there? Could be. I should go and study up what kind of wild animals actually live in the area where David, all right, could be lions and bears, I don't know. Oh, there are here. Oh, how about lions? We have mountain lions. Yes, we still do. Where I live, not here. So there is, how many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of men watching a boy with nothing but his slingshot and a few rocks, facing this, what, giant warrior. Wow. Shame on them. That's all I have to say. That's a really, really sad story to me.
Oh my gosh.
When it comes to the honor of men. But there you go. Right? All right. I'm done. This is just, And of course, it's God. There is one thing, the living God. David did have faith, right? Yeah, you have to have a lot of faith to look at your fellow men and seeing all them strapping people, men, right? In their armor, this and that, and everybody's afraid of one guy. Right? That's what, a hit taller than the rest of them? Yes? And here goes David says, yeah, well, I've dealt with some wild animals, so I'm going to give it a try. Nobody was worried about him dying.
Look.
Yeah. And the way that the brothers talked to David, they didn't really care about him neither, did they? Yeah, well, Just saying. Hey, I didn't write this down. Somebody did. You're giving me a lot of clues. Right?
Mommy writes this.
About all of that. Yes. You know what? Why don't you go and fill that up and go water the loofah? Huh? That loofah needs some water.
That loofah?
That's what. Those are your sunflowers growing.
That loofah?
Yes. Give her something to do till I finish, right? Yes. Yeah. So. All I can say is, if people think that this is such a mighty story to put into the Bible, right? And wow, look at this, and I think it's a shameful story for the Israelites, an absolutely shameful story, right? Nothing to be proud of, but maybe to learn from. And again, is it just a story? Did it really happen that way? Huh? Yes? Well, anyway, I don't know on how we know the kind of armor that Goliath was wearing, and I don't know how a rock can penetrate through that. He may have just found the right spot again, right? Obviously, he has a lot of experience with a slingshot. Right? Yes? Yeah, okay. All right. Anyway, so there it is. Anywho, so here we go, right? It seems to me like this was David's, first kill when it comes to a human, and he had no problems on, according to the story, cut his head off, and carry the head with him. Yes. Take it with him. Trophy. Woo-hoo-hoo. Shrunken heads. I wonder if that's what... Okay, right. I find it interesting that every rule in Israel, somehow, the freeing of the Israelites of anything always first. And the importance of one person or another always starts with killing someone first.
I want to water the sunflowers too.
Can you put your hand in the dirt and see if it's still wet? If it's still wet, then you shouldn't overwater them. That will make them...
It's still wet.
Yeah. I figured. So, right? Interesting. Yes. Hey, was it is as it was at that time, I guess. I'm just here to say, oh, okay. One wouldn't have to do that if actually the lessons from the past would have made any kind of difference in the future. Now. Which is our present now, right? Yes? But there are way too many things still going on out there that are absolutely wrong and nowhere close to God's ideal on how mankind is supposed to live together with each other and to take care of his creation. What did I start out with? Yes? Okay. All right, that's all I have to say this morning. God's love, blessings always, and I will talk to y'all another time.